Sobriety is a superpower, and if you change your life, you can change the world. The 4 most valuable skills men can have: overcome any addiction, delay instant gratification, focus on what's essential, and align action with ambition. I spent 22 years of my life trying to get my act together and develop these skills. This channel is all about highlighting my processes and frameworks that I've learned over time in order to save you years. In this video, I'm going to share with you about why sobriety is a good thing and holistic productivity can improve your life. But first, I want to share a little bit of context with you, and it begins with my backstory. So I grew up in the once great city of Portland, Oregon. I come from a big family. Our mom had 8 kids. It was a lot of poverty, pain, and addiction. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's true. Our parents were alcoholics and they smoked cigarettes. And so we grew up around that, and they didn't have like steady jobs and incomes. So we were on welfare and didn't have a lot of resources. So there was a lot of struggle, and I respect them for doing what they could to raise a family. I mean, that's hard. But the fact of the matter is, there was yelling, neglect, and some abuse. And that's the way we grew up. And so, I fell into addiction pretty naturally. It started actually, there's 3 main addictions that I'm overcoming now, and they started when I was young. The first one was sugar. It was just like cheap food and everything was processed. My mom did some home cooking, but it was still cheap ingredients and there's sugar in everything. And so I was addicted to sugar, eating it like crazy, how kids are. And that continued to this day. This is something I'm trying to overcome, but more on that later. And then after sugar, my second addiction that I was introduced to was tobacco. Everyone was smoking, family and friends, everyone was doing it. And so I started smoking tobacco when I was 11. Crazy to think about, but it's true. And I smoked every day for the last 30 plus years. So there was smoking, but then there was also play, and I did like to be active and outside. But it's very natural for young kids, and their metabolism and their health are very resilient. I go outside, I love nature, going for hikes, camping, and just being out in the wilderness. But smoking was with me the whole time. It was a very intimate relationship. And that led to alcohol. I had my first drink when I was, 18, 19, but I went through a bad breakup with this girl when I was about 20, and I was just crying about it. And I turned to alcohol. I was just drinking hard, starting in the morning, and I drank every day for the last 22 years. Smoking and drinking and traveling and partying, and it was wild times through the 20s and 30s, but it's been rough. It's been a struggle because the whole time, when I got into alcohol and addicted to that, I also got into health and nutrition. I got into raw food, veganism, and just like learning how to take care of my body. It was so crazy, the contrast in that. Oftentimes during the days, I'd be making healthy smoothies and biking to my shitty job so I could pay rent and just suffer through the day and look forward to the evening when I could bike home and crack open a beer or 12, and that was kind of my MO. That was my routine for all those years. Of course, I'm grateful for all those experiences. Without them, I wouldn't be the man who I am today. And it was an adventure, but I was suffering. I worked more shitty jobs than you can imagine. Hundreds of jobs that I would quit or get fired from. I'd work for 1 hour, 1 day, 1 month. It was just insane. But that might sound familiar to you. Working a job that you don't care about so you can pay rent just to self-medicate and disassociate in the evening. Smoking, drinking, just chit-chatting, shooting the shit with friends, not really building for your future, just trying to survive every day. It's a miracle that I survived all those escapades without any injury, disease, or unwanted children. But the time to get my act together finally arrived. About 7 years ago is when I met Tracy, and we were hanging out, liking each other's company, traveling, having a good time. And then we got married a couple years ago. And last year, we actually had a kid. His name is Miles. I knew that was going to be a game changer for me, and this was my opportunity to make that commitment, that resolve inside of myself to finally transcend addiction, overcome that pain and suffering so I can become the man I always knew I could be. And my son Miles was the catalyst for that change. And so 1 year ago, I got sober. And 1 month ago, I actually quit smoking tobacco, and it feels so good to have the lungs clear and breathe deep in a beautiful place like this. But why now? Why did I choose to get sober from alcohol and quit smoking now, as opposed to any time that I could have made the choice over all those years? To be the best role model for my son. I was exhausted from feeling like a tired old man, and I couldn't resist the call to my destiny to help you anymore. That's right, I was called to help you. You know, I had a memory resurface a few months ago from my childhood. You know, I used to read a lot of books. It would stimulate my imagination and a whole world would open up. And at the time, I wanted to become somebody who could do that for others. I wanted to be a writer. And that really meant a lot to me at the time. And I completely forgot about that. That dream was buried under addiction for all these years, but it came up a few months ago. And, it felt so good to remember that I want to be a writer. It's important to me now because writing is a way to help me organize my thoughts so I can speak better, communicate, and help share valuable information with people online and around the world, people like you, but more on that later. The point is, now that I have clarity, energy, and purpose, I'm able to step into my role as a good father and a mentor to men like you. And if you've done anything similar, you know that there's a thing called imposter syndrome. It's a bitch, and I've struggled with that, but I did beat the shit out of it. And I know you can too. I know you can do so much more. So why should you slay sobriety? If you're struggling from alcohol addiction or any other addiction, I know a lot of men are suffering from so many different kinds of addictions, you're in the right place. You can overcome the isolation of addiction and start to reconnect with yourself and me and other men too. I've enjoyed the feeling of sobriety and greater clarity and energy and purpose over the last year. It seems impossible when you're in the thick of it, but when you get clear, you'll see. There's just 3 things that you need to succeed. Simple habits to support a healthy lifestyle, inspiration and accountability to stay sober, and creative pursuits to give you clarity and purpose. So this is where I want to introduce you to a term called holistic productivity. This is the key to unlock your best life ever. It's a lifestyle practice that will bring you balance and beauty in your body, mind, and spirit. Your life depends on doing the right thing instead of resisting it. Your family and friends need you to show up. Now is the time to stop striving and start arriving. You know, the thing about holistic productivity is one of the keys to overcoming addiction I found is to plug yourself into an activity, to get creative, to tap into your childhood dreams and what's calling you in your heart, and to pursue it with passion, to use the time in your days to hustle after that, and there won't be any room or time for those addictions anymore. But there's a balance in all things. If we hustle too hard and work, we neglect our body. That's something that I've been trying to find balance in my own life. Sitting at the desk on the computer too much, not moving the body, and just neglecting other areas in our lives. So we want to find that balance. So holistic productivity is plugging into your creative passion and balancing it with honoring your body instrument, because it is an instrument. Life is music. And finding balance in a way that's right for you. And that thing of time management, it's one of the most important skills to learn. At the same time, learning how to manage our energy, recovering, and then breathing in so we can pull in the energy that's all around if we just tap into it, and practicing the skill of time management and energy management. When we regain control of these elements, then we regain control of our lives. And that's what I'm here to help you with. So this thing of holistic productivity is something I'm going to be sharing a lot more about in upcoming videos. But for now, I kind of want to backtrack and mention that writing thing again. One of the ways that I'm practicing becoming a writer is I'm spending a lot of time studying how to be a ghostwriter so I can work with other creators and coaches in the health and wellness industry to collaborate with them to help spread their messages far and wide. And when I'm not practicing ghostwriting, I decided to start a newsletter, which is a big deal for me because it's going to be sort of like an online journal where I document my process, what I'm struggling with, what I'm learning and overcoming, and sharing those strategies and frameworks with you. I'm calling the newsletter the Whipple Effect. Small changes in our lives can have a big impact in other people around the world. It's like the ripple effect. Everything's connected. Or the butterfly effect. A butterfly might flap its wings over here, but the effects can one day be felt across the world. I also like the symbolism of the butterfly because it's a symbol of transformation, from the caterpillar in the cocoon into a butterfly spreading its wings. I mean, I totally resonate with that, and you might as well. So in my newsletter, it's going to be a great way for me to help clarify my thoughts and practice the skill of writing and to help to make an impact. This video is actually a companion to my first issue that's live on March 6th. And that's my strategy with the newsletter, is to connect it with my YouTube channel. And so they're both going to be compatible, and you can find the links in the description to the newsletter. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, you're also going to see my YouTube videos here attached with each one. But distinctly in the newsletter, it's going to be a little bit different than my YouTube channel because I'm going to be sharing other helpful tools and resources. The Whipple Effect newsletter is a weekly situation, new issues coming out every Wednesday morning. And like this YouTube channel, it's all about helping men like you overcome addiction in life, because that's actually the first step to creating the life of your dreams, the life that you know is possible. You have to simplify, remove the non-essentials, the obstacles, things that no longer serve you, subtract them from your life so you can create room for something better. And that's where holistic productivity comes in, because once you decide to remove the addiction and do it, and I'm here to help you with that, then you can practice holistic productivity. Find that calling in your heart and soul that you want to do, to create, to play, to share, and I'm here to help you with that. And then practice holistic productivity, finding balance and pursuing your passions, healing your body. There's so much healing that needs to happen in the body and the mind. Then you're going to be well on the way to creating the life you want, or getting back on track if you were already there, perhaps, but maybe you got off track. Now is a good time to recalibrate. So I hope you're feeling inspired to subscribe to it. You can find the link in the description. I really appreciate you giving me the time and attention to watch this video today. And I hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. So until next week, stay free and be well.